Hi, I'm JD, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a way to factor by plugging in numbers. That's right. No longer thinking of, okay, what are the factors, what do they have to add up to, what's the difference, blah, 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 blah. With this method, it's just a matter of plugging them in. All you have to know is how to square a number, order of operations, how you take a square root of a number. Preferably you have a calculator because sometimes these numbers get really large when you're taking the square root of them. And then finding the GCF, which is a piece of cake. So, with that in mind, let's try this method. Now, let me read it to you. This is the problem, and you're told to factor. This is 3x squared minus 25x minus 28. Now, you need to know what your A is, your B is, and your C is. Now, with the formula, this is the formula I'm going to be using, and it looks kind of weird, but just hang in there. Just hear me out. This is AX minus D1. This is over the GCF of A and D1. Second set of parentheses is AX minus D2 over GCF, A, and D2. What I ended up doing to find this formula, and it probably exists somewhere out there, I'm just not aware of it myself. What I did was I reversed the quadratic formula. That's why some of these numbers are going to look very similar to the quadratic formula. A in here is equal to A. D1 equals to this, negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2, which is very similar to the quadratic formula. D2 is very similar. The only thing that changes is the plus and the minus. So this is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2. Now to do this, all you have to do, like I said, is, well, I don't know if I said it in this video or not, but all you have to do is just plug in numbers. That's all you have to do. So it makes factoring a little bit easier. You still have to follow the order of operations. A equals 3. Now with this guy, you just plug in the numbers. So negative b is the opposite of b, so that would be a positive 25 plus the square root of b squared. B squared is negative 25, so you want to square the negative 25 minus 4 times your a is 3 and your c is negative 28. All over 2. Now, very similar to what's here. The only difference is what you're going to have happen is the plus and the minus. So this is 25 minus the square root of negative 25 squared minus, and then your a, which is 3, and then your c, which is negative 28. All over 2. Now with this, you're going to have to break out a calculator because these numbers get rather huge. So I'm going to type in all at once. Well, let me do it separately. So you have negative 25 parentheses squared minus 4 times 3 times a negative 28. And I got 961. Now what you do next is you take the square root of that. The square root of 961 is 31. So this is 25 plus 31 over 2. And this is 25 minus 31 over 2. 25 plus 31 is 56. 56 divided by 2 is 28. So that's a 28. Now 25 minus 31 is a negative 6. Negative 6 over 2 is negative 3. So let me write some of this information down. I know what my A is. My A is 3. D1 is this long thing, so that's 28. D2 is negative 3. Notice I didn't have to do any listing of factors or trying to find the sum or the difference of the two or anything like that. I'm just plugging in numbers. So next, what I have to do is find the GCF. I have to find the GCF of A, which is 3, and D1, which is 28. That's going to be equal to 1. The GCF of 3 and negative 3, I'm going to ignore the signs, and so the GCF, the greatest common factors of those, would be 3. And so I'm going to simply erase this. I already did this all work out. If you need to, pause the video and write all this down. Now what you do next is you simply just plug everything in. So your A is 3x minus your D1 is 28. Your GCF of 3 and 28 is 1. Here is 3x minus 3 over 3. Now what you do next is you just simplify it. This is just going to be 3x minus 28. This is going to be x minus 1. And that's it. Let's see if it works. So let's actually FOIL. 3x times x is 3x squared. You have the outer. 3x minus 1 is minus 3x. You have the inner. Wait, am I doing that correctly? Oh, this is a negative 3, so this should be a plus. Okay, that makes more sense. So it's a plus 3x. Yeah, be careful of the negative signs, rule of thumb. Now, you have negative 28 times x, which is a negative 28x. And then you have negative 28 times a 1, which is negative 28. I simplify this, so 3x squared minus 25x minus 28. So it does check. So this would be your final answer. And that's it.